I'm Jay Jackson. Coming up, I'm going to show you how I lost 80 pounds in less than 9 months and how you can do it too without ever being hungry. Welcome to episode 19 of the ChoZen FroZen.
Bounce, bounce, bounce. Baby, bounce.
And welcome to episode 19 of the ChoZen FroZen, where we plan to change the way the world eats, one person at a time, one meal at a time. Now, we know you're serious about weight loss. That's why you're here. So hit that subscribe button. Also click that little bell that pops up so you can get a notification when we post new videos. Also, please, please, please hit the like and share this with your friends. I want to show YouTube that people are interested in these videos. Now, if you've seen our videos before, you know that I break this down into 3 very important categories. The first one is what I call the mathematics of weight loss. And that's where I show you the numbers that I use to lose the weight. And then I go to the practice of weight loss. And that's how I put those numbers into a routine where it gets to a routine and rhythm of losing weight. And finally, we go into the ChoZen. That's where I have a recommended frozen food for our advanced ChoZen FroZen subscribers and also some very important tips. Now, before we get started, I want to give a shout out to Men's Health Magazine. Thank you very much for the interview. That's going to be appearing online very soon. Also want to let you know that you need to download this app. It's called the MyFitnessPal app, and that app will allow you to track the calories that you're going to be consuming because that is very important. Now, let's get into the mathematics of weight loss. This is the first and very important pillar of the ChoZen FroZen. The mathematics of weight loss works like this. I consume at least 300-ish calories every day, up to 2,000 calories every 3 hours, and that's important. Again, 300-ish calories every 3 hours, every day, between 1,500 to 2,000 calories. Why is that important? First, if you're eating a 300-ish calorie meal every 3 hours, it is highly unlikely that you are going to be hungry in that 3-hour period. So when you eat that first meal at 300-ish meal, you won't be hungry probably for 5 hours. But you want to eat every 3 hours for the second important reason of the mathematics of weight loss. Your fat-burning machine, your metabolism, operates at its prime rate when you're feeding it 300-ish calories every 3 hours. So what that means is your metabolism is constantly burning food, right? And I visualize it like a machine. And a machine has an engine, and every engine needs fuel. Sometimes it's batteries. For some vehicles, it's gasoline. But for your fat-burning metabolism, it's calories. And those calories will fuel that machine to keep it going all day. Now, if you give it too many calories, 500, 600 calories at a sitting, it's going to bog it down like any engine. If you give an car engine too much gas, it's going to bog it down. If you give it too little gas, it's going to stall. Same thing with your metabolism. If you give it too few calories, which you see in these restrictive type diets, it's going to stall and it's going to stop with its fat eating job, and then you're going to accumulate weight, accumulate fat, and you don't want to do that. You want to find that sweet spot. And that sweet spot that I found is 300-ish calories every 3 hours. That will rejuvenate your metabolism every 3 hours to keep it going at its optimal rate where it's constantly eating that fat. Now, I want to point out some important things to you. You want to first Google the 300-calorie meals. That's where you can find various meals that are 300-ish calories, and you have tons of options there. So you can't say I can't find a 300-calorie meal because there's plenty of them, and that's very important. And I want to show you why, because take a look at these pictures. The guy on the left there, you see, screen left, that was around October 2018, 310 pounds, completely out of control with the weight, high blood pressure, just, one step away from the grave. And then my doctor just gave me some information, and I put that information together, and it came down to this. It came down to 300-ish calories every 3 hours, every day, up to 1,500 to 2,000 calories. Now, a little more advanced and some science on this. Look up these books by this gentleman named Jorge Cruz. He's kind of the godfather of the 3-hour diet. Now, our plans are different in several ways, but if you want some science and real numbers on this, take a look at what he's doing. And he has millions of books, and he's helped a lot of people lose weight, celebrities. Again, a little bit different. Mine is, 300 calories every 3 hours. His is 400 with the 100-calorie snack in between. And then there are some other things. I say your frozen food should always be your safety net when you're doing this kind of eating plan. So again, 300-ish calories every 3 hours, every day, up to 1,500 to 2,000 calories. You will lose weight. And that's the mathematics of weight loss. And now for the second important pillar of the ChoZen FroZen, the practice of weight loss. Remember, we're working with 300-ish calories every 3 hours, every day, up to 1,500 to 2,000 calories, right? Well, there's a limited time that you can eat between the time you wake up and the time you go to bed. So the first meal you have, you count 300-ish calories every 3 hours from then on. For instance, my first meal is generally at 8 o'clock in the morning, so I'll have a 300-ish calorie meal. My second meal is at 11, and then the next one's at 2 o'clock, and the next one's at 5 o'clock, and the next one's at 8 o'clock, and that's my final meal because I generally go to bed around 10:30. And so in each of those meals, I'm eating the 300-ish calorie meal because why? I'm never hungry in 3 hours eating those 300 calorie meals. And number two, more importantly, I'm keeping that metabolism going all of those 3 hours, and it's keeping it rejuvenated, operating at its optimal rate every 3 hours. 8 o'clock I wake up, then I have my first meal, then it's 11 o'clock, then 2 o'clock, and then 5 o'clock, and then 8 o'clock. Let's say you start eating at 7 o'clock in the morning. Well, the same thing. The first meal is at 7 o'clock, 300-ish calorie meal, then you go 3 hours, and then that's 10 o'clock, and the next one's gonna be 1 o'clock, and then 4 o'clock, and then 7 o'clock. And then let's say you start at 9 o'clock, you know, you're a late eater. It's the same thing, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. You will get to a point where the numbers, as far as the time in the day, will be very important to you. It will be burned into your memory that it's time to eat, you know, because you know your 3-hour interval is up. And you will be happy to do it because once you get further into the ChoZen FroZen and understand how this really works, you will know that that 300-calorie meal is not something that is designed to just go into your belly, but it's designed to fuel your fat burner. And that fat burner is going to eat calories. So every meal that you eat that's 300-ish calories every 3 hours is designed to make you lighter, to reduce the weight, as opposed to just eating to be satisfied. You're eating for a purpose. And that purpose is to activate that fat-burning machine inside of you, your metabolism, every 3 hours so you can keep it energized for it to do its job. And its primary job is to eat the fat from your body. And that is the practice of weight loss.
Bounce, bounce, bounce. Baby, bounce.
And welcome to The ChoZen. Now, if you've never been here before, this is for more advanced ChoZen FroZen subscribers, people who have been doing this for a while. They have lost the weight, they're looking great, they're getting lots of compliments, and they know that this is how they're going to eat for the rest of their lives. So that's why this segment is very important for people who have been doing this for a while, because I also offer a recommended ChoZen food, a frozen food that will be helpful, that has helped me on my weight loss journey. But a couple of quick things we always got to let you know. Number one, there are 0 food restrictions on the ChoZen FroZen plan. You can have anything you want to eat. You can have your burritos, you can have your chicken, you can have your wine, you can have your whiskeys, you can have your cheesecakes, as long as you keep it to 300-ish calories every 3 hours, every day, up to 1,500 to 2,000 calories. Also want to just let you know this, it is so important to go to Google and look up the 300-calorie meals, because you just don't want to eat one thing all the time. Let's say it's frozen foods. You want to have a wide variety of food in your diet. So look up the 300-calorie meals and you'll see a huge amount of those meals. But the easiest way to do this is with the frozen foods. And you got to know that the frozen foods aren't those old school days that foods are filled with preservatives and all kind of chemicals and loaded with sodium. The modern frozen food is really something special, and it has helped tons of people, and it has certainly helped me, and it has helped dozens of people that are on the ChoZen FroZen right now and whose lives are doing great. Prime example, this is Kathy Huck. She is on the ChoZen FroZen for a month. And this 63-year-old woman now looks like a 43-year-old woman, and she's living a great life, you know, and I can show you my pictures forever, and I can show you exactly what I did. And that's what I'm telling you what I did here in the ChoZen FroZen in all of these videos. I eat 300-ish calories every 3 hours, every day, up to 1,500 to 2,000 calories. My primary meals were these frozen foods. And as in every one of these videos, we do have a recommended frozen food, and today it's going to be a Healthy Choice Power Bowls adobo chicken. Very good here, and as you know, we season this in a very particular way. So let's get right down to business. First, we pop it in the microwave, we follow the instructions, do exactly what they say do, follow it to a T, and then what I do is I plate the food on a bed of baby spinach. And the reason I do that is because I pour the food on top of that spinach, and then I cover the spinach, or cover the food, along with the spinach. And what happens is the spinach will melt down and I stir it into the food and it becomes more like an herb. So it provides not only a new texture and flavor to the food, but of course it provides the nutrients and very important roughage to the food when you're having these frozen meals. Okay, let's get right down to seasoning our food. As you know, what we do here is we season our food not based on flavor, we season it based on color. And that means what the colors we see in the different ingredients, we match those colors with the spices and herbs and seasonings in our spice rack. So on this one, the first thing that jumps out at me, the red. We see the red bell peppers. There's also a red sauce in here. So I like to use the tahini. The tahini is a Mexican chili and spice that adds a lot of flavor, and it's an excellent spice. And then looking at the greens, I'm going to go with the chives because chives are green. We got green ingredients. Looking at the chicken and the rice, that's a white ingredient. So we're going to go with a white herb. In this case, actually, is going to be minced onion. That's excellent. And then finally, we see the corn. That's yellow. So we're going to go with a yellow spice. In this case, it's going to be lemon pepper. And that is an excellent flavor. And this is an excellent meal that's only 330 calories, which fits right into the ChoZen FroZen plan. So we'll real quick review of the spices and seasonings and herbs on this one. It's going to be the tahini. For our red colors, for our green, it's going to be chives. Of course, chives are green. For our white colors, for instance, the chicken and the rice, it's going to be minced onion. Minced onion's white. And then finally, for the yellow color, the corn, we are going to go with the lemon pepper, and those colors all match. And that's a 330-calorie meal. Excellent, excellent meal. Now, in review, once again, the ChoZen FroZen, 300-ish calories every 3 hours, every day, up to 1,500 to 2,000 calories. You eat at certain times, whether your first meal is at 8 o'clock, and then you eat 3 hours after those meals, 8 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Let's say you start at 9 o'clock, same thing, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. 7 o'clock, you start at the same thing. If you start at 7 o'clock in the morning, it's going to be 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock. So those are the pillars that you have to get used to. 300-ish calories every 3 hours, also eating at particular times of day. Once you get locked into that rhythm, you will find the weight just falling off, and people will be giving you compliments. You won't even be able to believe it. You can look at and post these dramatic type pictures of incredible transformations, and the key thing is you're never hungry, and you can always eat what you want. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the ChoZen FroZen. Thank you for tuning in one more time. This is episode 19. I'm Jay Jackson. Bon appetit.
Bounce, bounce, bounce. Baby, bounce. Come on, bounce, bounce, bounce. Baby, bounce for me. I like the way it snap back. Can I put it on Snapchat? Make it go clap, clap, clap. I'm gonna need a nap, nap. Got the bed squeaking. Baby girl, you freaking. No need for speaking. Look back, get a peeking. Tell me how you like